going on, family? Let's pray. Father, we thank you for all that you've done. Thank you, God, for what you're going to do. And Father, I pray, God, that in this moment, Father, that you will be with us. I'm praying, God, that you will give us clarity and understanding, Father, on what you're doing, Father, even in this setting. And Father, I'm praying, God, that even as Joseph told his brothers, God, that they did it for his bad, but Father, you as God, undoing the evil for the good. And Father, I'm praying, God, that as you work in each and every one of our situations, Father, I thank you that you are undoing, Father, what the devil thought was for our bad, Father. You are undoing it and making it for our good. So, Father, I'm praying even now, Father, that as we, Father, move forward, Father, I'm praying, God, that you would, Father, give our host insight, give our host, Father, clarity and understanding, Father, that he might be able, Father, to articulate your will concerning us. And Father, I'm praying, God, for every guest, every participant, Father, that would join, Father, that they too would add to the conversation of their light because of your light that you're shining in their life. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Enjoy the show, family. See you soon.
And we thank you, Pastor Wallace, for that awesome prayer. Pastor Wallace is in Augusta, Georgia. And we just thank you for praying with us for the Today is Your Day show. Welcome, everybody. Just a few announcements. Of course, we want to start with Davis Consultants. I want you all to know Davis Consultants is here for you. Listen, the year's almost up. And are you ready for 2024? We want to make sure that you are meeting your goals next year, that you meet goals and have things in place before this year ends. So make sure you give us a hit up. We do life coaching, CEO mentorship, business coaching, business consulting, and ministry consulting. Listen, we're here to make sure that you are on top of, you at your top game, you are at your A game. And that's in your organization, that's in your business, that's in your life. We are here to help, and we don't want you to miss out. So go to www.davisconsultantsgroup.com. That's www.davisconsultantsgroup.com. Are you wanting to help your speaking be even better than it is right now? Listen, we are here to help. I'll be teaching a public speaking class coming this January. You don't want to miss out on this. I really believe it's going to be a blessing to you. We all have to talk in front of people at some point, and you want to make sure you are on it. Again, class starts in January. I think it's the second week in January, but go to www.eaglesiti.org. That's www.eaglesiti.org. It's very low cost, and it's only 6 weeks. I don't want you to miss it. So just 1 hour for 6 weeks. We can change your life and your speaking. So go to www.eaglesiti.org. Christmas is coming up, but do you have your shirts? Look at those people. They're happy that they have their shirts. So today is your day. Shirts, because I want you to understand when you put that shirt on, it's your day. It's your day any day. But that shirt is a reminder to let you and others that see you know that it doesn't have to be your birthday for today to be your day. So go to the website, davisconsultantsgroup.com, go to the store, shop, get your shirt. They have this shirt. They have a Better Me shirt and hoodie. And they also have the book. You know the book. The Today is Your Day business devotional, the 31-day for the Christian business owner. Hey, Christmas is here. You can get them a shirt. You can get them a book. You don't have to look far to get gifts this year. And you can go to Amazon, type in the same title, and get the paperback. I don't want you to miss out on these great things that we have going on. Listen, let's get on top of our health. We all like to have that New Year's resolution that we're going to be more healthy. You don't have to wait until January. You can start right now. Hit me up about the Plexus. Plexus, I have, you see on that, it says that 1, 2, 3, that's a reset. People lately have been taking the reset and they have been losing pounds left and right. And I want you to be one of those people. So reach out to me. I take Triplex. It works for gut health. And it really does work. I wouldn't be an ambassador for it if I knew it didn't work, because I don't want to just take people money. I want to help change lives. And Plexus is doing just that for each and every person that is taking it. So reach out to me. You can be on Facebook, you can be on my website, and say, hey, I want to know not only about Plexus, but I want to know how you can help me in my health journey, because that's what we are here to do. We're here to help and help each other. And I want you to succeed and be successful in your life. Listen, I always want to give a shout out to our main sponsor, the Proclamation 101 on YouTube. This channel is blessing lives, changing lives. And I want you to make sure that you go to YouTube and subscribe, hit that bell and say, hey, I want my life changed through the word. And they're going to do just that. They're going to do just that. I think they have a session going on tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I don't want you to miss it. Listen, let's get our life better. And we can do that by the word. And they're going to teach you word by word of what that Bible says. And it's really interactive and it's fun. And I really believe not only will you have a good time, but you'll learn in the process. So go on over to YouTube, the Proclamation 101, and subscribe. And we thank them for being our main sponsor for the Today Is Your Day show. Also a sponsor for the Today Is Your Day show moment is Young People Nation podcast. Listen, the Perrys are killing it. They're talking about real issues, real problems that people are having, especially with our youth. And if you listen, you will learn. I don't care what age you are. We all are walking around with something, and listening to the conversations that they're having with their interviewees is amazing. And it's opening your eyes and your heart to things that we need to see and things that we need to hear and talk about. So make sure that on, my Super Thursdays with the Perrys and the Proclamation 101. So tomorrow, for for the podcast, you go to Young People Nation at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, and then you head over to YouTube and you join in the class with the Proclamation 101. Now, the Young People Nation, they're also on YouTube, so look them up and subscribe. Hit that bell. Hit that bell, so every time they go live or the Proclamation 101 goes live, you are right there and ready to eat it up. We want to thank Young People Nation podcast for being a sponsor for our Today Is Your Day moment. So let's get to our Today Is Your Day moment. Something that's really important that we need to learn as individuals is, as we're going through this thing called life, is knowing our value. A lot of times we don't keep that in mind, so we allow things to happen in our lives. We allow people to do certain things. We make decisions that we shouldn't have because we don't understand our worth. So I want you to take some time before this year is up and understand and really evaluate your life to say, you know what? I've done some things that I shouldn't have because I didn't realize who I was and how much I was worth. Not saying that there's a price on how much you're worth, but understanding that you are more than you think you are at times. And I think if we understand and know that, we'll live life a lot differently. So take a look at your life, take a look at yourself, and tell yourself, look in the mirror and say, you know what? I made those decisions, but I'm better than that. I'm worth more than that. It may even end some relationships. So I want you to take some time to reevaluate your life, evaluate your year, and tell yourself what you're worth. I promise you, your life will be changed. Remember, today is your day. I am so excited that you all decided to join us tonight. This is our last show for the year, and I'm so excited about it. I thank all of you for being a part with Today Is Your Day show for this year, and I know it's going to be even better after this. But today is an amazing show that I have my wonderful friend that is joining us today, and I will bring him up in a second. But I want you all to have your pen and paper ready because he's going to be dropping some jewels that we need to hear that'll also be very impactful to our lives. I knew when I saw his work that he presents to the world constantly, I said, you know what, I have to have him on the show. And guess what? He said yes. So we are so excited to have Mr. Justin Sheils on the show. Thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to Today Is Your Day show. I want you to tell the audience all that you do and all that you're a part of so the audience can fall in love with this amazing person.
Oh my gosh, Jonathan, thank you so much for having me today. I am beyond excited to be here, have an opportunity to connect with you and your audience. As you mentioned, my name is Justin Sheils, and I'm an artist and a speaker. I also write, and what I'm super honored to be able to talk to y'all about today is that as the founder of So Curious, an online platform that supports creative people in discovering personal development, creativity, and how to be a more happy human being, I have released a new book called The Reset Workbook.
Whoop, whoop.
And so that's what we're going to be chatting about today. I'm so excited about it.
Well, I want us to talk about all that because you can't just drop all that and say, I'm gonna just talk about this little part. We want to know all about this company and platform that you have. So tell us, how did it actually get started? And then we'll look at the book.
So much of my story starts with my journey of going to therapy, right? So I've always been a fan of personal development. I've always been a huge reader. I love learning. I love engaging with new information. But something shifted when I started my mental health journey. And the big significant thing that changed was that I finally found the courage to share those tiny bits of myself with other people on the internet, right? And so I started writing things that I was learning, illustrating them, and adding them to my Instagram page regularly as a way to encourage people to tap into their inner joy and light. What happened from there is I started an email newsletter now called the Weekly Reset, where I would collect these images and these words and share them with the community. Now we're up to right under 7,000 email subscribers. In addition to that, I post that information on the web in a variety of forms, sometimes in short form video, sometimes in long form video, but it all lives on the website, socurious.co. And that has been my calling card for helping people with making positive changes in their lives.
Tell me this, why do you find it important to have self-development?
That's such a good question.
That's why you're on the show.
I feel like for me, there's so much opportunity in becoming a more healthy, more whole person. And that is my personal journey, and one that I think everyone should go on for themselves. We start off as a 2 to 3 year old. We have this deep, beautiful, meaningful sense of self. And through the course of our life, we have these incidents that happen that kind of shift and change who we are, right? And I think as an adult, the biggest thing that I've learned over and over again is that I'm trying to refine the happiest, most joyful version of Justin, that 2 to 3 year old Justin, in my daily activities. And I feel like personal development is this pathway to being able to do that, to learn, to grow, to change, to invest in yourself and your positive exploration of who you are and who you could become.
Well, you know, I believe that a lot of us should be doing this daily. And I don't think a lot of us do. I think a lot of times we just take on the, you know, this is how I am. This is how my family is. So, you know, you all just deal with it. I can't change. And I totally believe that that's not true. Not true at all. And I think what you're doing is very not only impactful, but I think very important. What do you believe is like the age to to find this important and start it?
Oh, so technically you can start at any time. Like you could be 13 years old and start focusing on your personal development, learning how to invest in your growth. But I think at the heart of the narrative for me is this pursuit, this endless pursuit of loving myself fully. And that's really the message I want to spread to everyone. It's like through this deep work, you will absolutely learn to accept and love every aspect of yourself. And I think that's actually our purpose here, to spread love first with ourselves and then to our family, then to our community, then to the world, because that ripple effect is what creates that positive change that the world actually needs.
Mm-hmm. And as you can see, a lot of times that's not happening. And do you feel that is because we don't have well, one, we don't understand love. We don't understand how to, if we don't understand love at all, we don't know how to give it. And a lot of times we don't know how to receive it. What do you think or believe that are the hindrances about that?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges that most people fall into, and this I think is just the trap of living in society today, is that we are so busy doing our day-to-day hustle, our day-to-day grind, working so hard just to like make sure that the lights stay on in our house, that we don't make space and time to reflect on who we are and where we want to go from here. And so you mentioned earlier, like some people, they kind of struggle with this feeling that I can't create change for myself. I don't have the ability to do this because I'm too busy thinking about all these other things. And I think the opportunity and the gift of this moment and every moment is that you actually can change anytime you want, right? You don't have to wait till January 1st to decide, oh, I'm going to be a newly invested person in my growth and development. You could decide that today on whatever day. Every day is an opportunity to invest in you. And I feel like that really does first start with making a decision, right? You have to make a decision that I want to change for the better. Because if you don't make that decision to change for the better, unfortunately, you will change for the worse.
And then that cycle continues. So you have been writing and speaking and doing all these things for years. What got prompted all this with you?
Yeah, I feel like young Justin always knew that he wanted to be able to use his creative talents for the world in some specific way. It's funny because I actually anticipated that I would be an animator. That was the goal of my youngest self, but I kind of was able to kind of transition into doing graphic design, which taught me all of these really wonderful skills on how to communicate. And through my experience as a graphic designer, I continued to invest in learning other things, marketing, business, all of these different tools in the toolkit that kind of set me up for success in eventually becoming a creative director in advertising. So a creative director in advertising is primarily responsible for supporting graphic designers, videographers, copywriters, in taking an idea and turning it into a message that changes people's lives, right? So you've seen a commercial on television. So for example, like a Red Bull commercial, you have a group of people that work together to make that idea come to fruition. And they do that in all these different forms. I feel like my experience as a creative director has actually been the biggest part of me being able to package these stories in ways that are compelling and interesting to people and share them. But instead of trying to sell a product to someone, right? Instead of trying to get more people to buy Red Bull or Doritos or Coca-Cola, my goal is to help people to learn how to love themselves more. And so I'm creating messages that resonate with people's hearts and minds in order to create that positive change that I think we all yearn for, that we all desire.
Tell me some of the responses that you get from your community in doing so.
High key, my favorite thing to hear from anyone is this is the message that I needed today. And it actually happens more frequently than you can imagine. I've been sending out the weekly email newsletter since 2019. It started because I was working a very hectic, stressful job as a creative director in advertising, working around the clock, very stressed out, overwhelmed. And I was like, I need something for me. I need something that I'm passionate about. I need to use my skills to invest in the world in a more meaningful way. And so I started sending out this email newsletter every single week. And the awesome thing that happened was I was sharing pieces of my life with people, things I was learning in therapy, things I was learning in books, or just little tiny personal experiences, so people could connect with me and that message a little bit deeper. And what happened then and what continues to happen is people will respond and be like, oh my gosh, you talked about how hard it is to let go. And it's like, I'm literally having challenges with letting go. Or another example, you talked about how challenging it can be to have those difficult conversations, especially with people that you love. And they'll say something like, I'm having trouble having a difficult conversation. And the way that you wrote it gave me the confidence to push forward and actually do that thing.
Let's talk about those two topics, because those are, I mean, you brought it up. So I mean, we got to talk. So let's start with the last one. What did you share with them, and why do you feel that it is hard to have those difficult conversations?
So, okay, let's back into that. I have resting smiley face. So some people might have heard of the opposite of that. I have resting smiley face. And it has been a hindrance my entire life, because I have trouble sometimes communicating negative emotions because I'm used to like putting a positive spin on things. But as I've grown and developed, a part of my development was really to hone in on how to express the widest spectrum of emotions and be honest and authentic with the way that I feel, be truthful in the way that I communicate, right? This was a thing that I have had to learn time and time again, and that I'm thankful that I've been able to become much, much better at, right? A part of that is learning how to have these really challenging, difficult conversations. And in these conversations, your responsibility is to first understand, what am I trying to actually communicate? What's the end result that I desire from this conversation, right? It could be I want to be heard. It could be that I want them to change their behavior. It could be that I just need to vent and get this off my chest, right? But you have to go into it with a desired expectation of what could happen from that conversation. Then you need to figure out how to say it in a way that will be received, right? So we all know that the people in our lives have different tolerances for the way that they need to be communicated with. And so you have to figure out a script or an idea around how you want to present that information so that it's received with the love and intention that you've put into that difficult conversation. I think that's the most important part. You can say hard things with kindness. And I'm going to say that again. You can say hard things with kindness, right? Like, I think there's this huge difference between being nice and being kind, though. And I think I want to sit in that for a second, right?
Let's do.
We're taught that we should be nice. You look nice today. I like the way that you do blank, 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 right? Be nice. We're taught that growing up. But kindness is different. Kindness is holding someone accountable to being a better version of themselves. Kindness is being respectful to yourself, and making sure that you're being treated with the respect that you know you deserve from the people in your life and in your community. And the thing is, the difficult conversation doesn't have to be some big screaming match. It doesn't have to be some big argument, right? It doesn't always have to be that. It actually can be you confidently asserting that you want to be treated in this specific way. And that is, I think, the key to having these difficult conversations, having the confidence to stand up for yourself. And so one of the kind of scripts that I like kind of go to that I think is really effective, especially for people like me with rest and smiley face that maybe at different points in our life have avoided having those difficult conversations, is to say, I noticed that blank and it made me feel blank. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, that's cool. Now, the other one was letting go. Coaches.
Now, letting go is challenging. That is one thing that I still struggle with myself in so many ways. But I think, and you have to forgive me, I need to cough for a second.
We forgive.
For me, the beauty of letting go is really allowing yourself the opportunity to invite something new in, right? And so if we go back to that initial example that you had where people are like, I feel stuck, I cannot change. It's true that you can't change unless you're willing to let something go. Because when you let something go, you invite something new into your life, right? So there's beauty in letting go of that relationship with someone that treats you poorly, because you are opening space in your life for someone that will treat you well. There is so much opportunity in letting go of a bad habit so that you can make space for a good habit. And one of the things that I've learned through my experience is that it actually is more effective in focusing on what you want to add to your life, because that allows you to let things go without having to even think that deeply about it, right? So a practical example right now, I'm trying to eat more of a plant-based diet. I learned that I have high blood pressure. It's genetic, so I might not be able to change it, but I'm an optimistic person, so I'm going to focus my attention on the things that I can control, which one of those is physical fitness and eating healthier, right? So I'm focused on this plant-based diet, and I'm doing this thing called the Daily Dozen. Basically, it's a list of these specific foods that you eat every day. And so instead of focusing my attention on I'm letting go of eating cheeseburgers and hamburgers, cheeseburgers and French fries every day, chicken tenders and whatever, I'm focusing my intention on how can I make sure that I'm having 3 fruits every day, that I'm having 4 leafy greens every day, that I'm having beans twice a day, because those things add to my greater health and give me the nutrients that my body needs. And so when I'm focusing my attention on eating these healthier items, it's not saying I can't do the other stuff, but because I'm so focused on trying to do these things, it just doesn't leave that much room for the things that I don't need. And so I think that's a strategy that people can use to focus on adding the new you need instead of focusing on, I just need to let that thing go.
Wow, that's good. I mean, look, you taught us how to let it go and then introduced us to a way of eating. Do you happen to know, like, so does it all add up to 12, or is it 12 things that you have to eat?
Yeah, so they call it the Daily Dozen, but technically it's 24 things on the list. And I am very new to this, so I don't want to misspeak, but it includes drinking 5 glasses of water. 5 glasses of water every day. You're responsible for having a traditional or useful spice like turmeric or garlic every day. Flax seeds are a part of the diet. Chia seeds are a part of the diet. And it's so far is really interesting. To be honest, I've not ticked all the boxes every single day. But what I appreciate is I'm using an app that helps me track this. There's this free app called the Daily Dozen that you can use. And it's giving me a really clear understanding of my eating habits and helping me to make healthier choices along the way.
That's good. And I think that's a good way of, I mean, We need to all make healthier choices. We're going in and out the year, and I tell people all the time, and I make posts about, you don't have to, like you said earlier, you don't have to wait until next year to make change. You don't have to wait next year to give or have the new you. I also tell people, there's really no difference in the 31st and the 1st. You're the same person. It's really just the daily decisions that you make. So what they need to do first, tell us how to get connected to you. I know you said it earlier, but I want to keep letting people know. How can people get connected to you?
I would say absolutely the best way to stay connected to me is to visit socurious.co. On this website, you have all of my writings and illustrations. In addition, you have links to my social media channels, my YouTube channel, and my Instagram account. So socurious.co is the best way to stay connected.
Awesome. You all heard it. Make sure you write that down so you all can stay connected in this positive community. I think that's awesome. So we have a new book. We have a workbook that, hold on. First of all, it's a new book. Is this your first book?
So there's some context there. I've actually self-published quite a number of titles over the course of my career. But this is my debut work with a publishing company. I'm so happy and thankful to say that the Reset Workbook, it actually has been produced by Spruce Books, which is a subsidiary of Penguin Random House. Your boy made it to Penguin Random House with a book that is near and dear to my heart that I'm excited to share more about.
Well, we are wanting to hear more about it. Let's do it. So tell us what this book is, what all is a part of it, and then I'll ask more questions.
Yeah. So the Reset Workbook. Oh, yes, I do.
Show the people. I haven't gotten my copy yet, but I will be getting it.
Here we go. Okay. This is it, y'all. This is the book. It's called the Reset Workbook. And this is a guided journal that is really designed to help you navigate the pivot points of life with confidence and clarity. And my real focus with the Reset Workbook is to help you break unhelpful patterns. I really want people to live with more passion, more purpose, and more energy. And I feel like this book is so interesting because it helps you to literally rewrite your story, right? You are reading these kind of short inspirational posts. And then in addition to that, you have these journaling prompts that lead you down a path of self-discovery. And I think at the heart of that self-discovery is really analyzing the parts of your life that work and the parts of your life that need a little bit more work, right? And so through this process, you are able to define some tiny rituals that you're going to make for yourself that are going to give you more passion, purpose, and energy, and set you up for making the meaningful changes of achieving goals that you want to come to fruition in your life.
That is actually pretty awesome. What prompted this? What prompted you to write this book?
Now, I mentioned earlier that therapy was a huge impetus for my personal development journey. But if I'm being 100% honest, it was actually a breakup. I fell in love and was in a beautiful 5-year relationship that eventually ended. And when it ended, I needed to find myself again, right? I had to do all of this deep personal self-work to really figure out who I was outside of the context of that relationship. And so while I was in therapy, I got exposed to all of these other forms of personal development that I hadn't fully understood. And so, for example, I have always journaled. I've been a consistent journaler for the majority of my life. But I didn't understand the power of journal prompts as a way to be able to understand more of myself. I always thought that journaling was just writing about your day. And, sometimes if you have some big emotions, you write those out on a piece of paper. But through guided prompts, you have the ability to really go a little bit deeper and understand who you are at your core. I feel like that was a huge impetus for my growth and development. And so I wanted to pull all of that information together into something that I think will practically change people's minds just by writing your feelings on paper.
Mm-hmm. I think that's good. And I think we don't take enough time to actually do that. People talk about journaling all the time and how it's so therapeutic, but sometimes, and I was even told yesterday, it's like, you got to take those things out of your head and put it on paper so you can see, where you are, where you need to go, what you need to do. And I think that is wonderful, wonderful. Can you give us maybe some excerpts from the book to kind of introduce us to it?
Yeah. So my goal with the book was really to focus on the most important areas of people's lives. And so one of my favorite chapters of the book is really about strengthening your mind, right? And my focus there in that part of the book is really how you handle negative self-talk. I mentioned earlier that I have resting smiley face. I also have struggled with negative self-talk. The way that my brain talks to me sometimes has been, I'd say, unacceptable, right? It's like I have not always been my biggest cheerleader. Instead, I have been my biggest bully, right? And I think through the power of positive affirmations, I've been able to learn more and more how to trust myself, how to love myself, and how to accept myself. And I think those three things are the core to strengthening your brain so that you can be more resilient as things pop up, because the world will hit us with challenges, right? The world is already difficult in all these different ways, but our brains should be a safe space. That should be a space where we feel nurtured and cared for. And it takes work and effort to reprogram our brains, to rewrite those stories. But it is that effort is worth doing because we deserve to be safe in our own brain.
Right. So let's even go. You mentioned something that I think a lot of times we don't realize. We talk about being, or how hard it is to trust others. But can you talk about how do we start the journey to learn to trust ourselves?
Oh, yeah. I was reading something last night about the idea of romantic relationships, and specifically how, like, in some romantic relationships, there can be these, like, really, I would call them lower levels of abuse where, like, maybe your partner talks down to you, or maybe they say they embarrass you in public, right? Those are the two topics that kind of stood out for me while I was reading this. And I kind of was thinking about this, and it came to me that we only allow people to treat us as bad as we are willing to treat ourselves in our heads, right? And so, like, as your self-esteem grows, as your confidence grows, as your self-trust grows, you limit the way that you allow people to interact with you, because you know that you are worthy of being treated well, right? So I'll make it, like, very plain and personal. I was working at a place at some time in my life, and I had a boss that was exceptionally critical, like critical in a way that went beyond the work and instead went to, I would say, almost to a level of ridiculing me and the team, right? It was just like a really negative, focused critique that was not healthy, not good, and not okay, right? So this is the thing. I was new to the company, and when I first experienced it for the first time, I was so gobsmacked and confused, and, like, I genuinely was like, I can't believe that this is happening in a workplace. And I think I was the first person that had ever felt that way and actually said it out loud to people. And, like, said it out loud publicly, right? Like, it wasn't like a secret. It wasn't, oh, I'm saying this in a Slack conversation one-on-one with someone. It was like on the group call. I'm like, that was not okay. I'm going to close my computer and take a 15-minute break and reset before I come back, right? That changed the culture of that workplace. And the reason that it did was because I have a really I have high expectations about the way that I should be treated because I value myself now in a way that I have never valued myself ever in my life, right? So you're not going to talk to me any kind of way. And that's how it is. Like, and I think it's not specifically this, like, I'm putting up these defensive walls that push people away from me. Actually, my focus and my goal with my interactions with people is that I will treat you with kindness and love. I will be intentional in the way that I react to you because I want you to do the same things for me. And I get it. Not everybody is in that same space in their own personal growth and development. And many people, unfortunately, they will accidentally spill out some negativity, some anger, some frustration in different ways. But my expectation then is that you have the self-awareness to be able to acknowledge the things that you do and apologize for them when they pop up. Because similarly, when I get mad and say something that's a little off color, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come right back around and apologize because the way that I said that was not acceptable. You deserve to be treated with respect. And so I think the opportunity for all of us is really to figure out, how can I love myself more? How can I stop that voice in the back of my head that tells me that I'm unworthy and instead change that narrative to, I am worthy of love. I am worthy of success. I am worthy of growth and development.
Did y'all enjoy that session that we just had? I love it because I so many people are in that situation where they're at work and not being respected, and they're like, but in their minds they're thinking, no, I mean, where I'm gonna go, I guess it has to be okay because I need this job. I get that, but you also need to love you and understand that you are worth more than someone talking at you, not to you. So I think that is actually just wonderful. And again, thank you for that coaching session you just gave us, because that was really good. Y'all need to buy this book. Buy this book so I can get this work in. And so I guess that helps with me asking the question of you telling us your journey, your own reset journey.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That or.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I've had so many resets over the course of my life. So I mentioned falling in love was like its own journey, right? The first time that I fell in that deep, meaningful love was its own beautiful reset in and of itself. Learning how to be connected that deeply to somebody. Going through the breakup was a really significant reset for me, because it was, how can I come back to myself? I think one meaningful reset for me was leaving a very secure job to start my own design studio. That was a meaningful pivot point for me. A few years after that, shutting down my company and going back to be a creative director at a social media agency, that was another significant reset. There was moving to a new city where I literally knew no one. That was a total reset. There have been resets with family and friends where some relationships have kind of withered and some relationships have grown and developed. And I think all of these kind of pivot points are so important to navigate and can be so challenging for so many people. But I think the big one that all of us have experienced, if you haven't experienced anything I've said to date, all of us have gone through a global pandemic where the literal world was on pause and we had to redefine who we are. The pandemic changed me to my core, and I know that it was the impetus for so much change for so many people. And now that we're coming out of the pandemic and we're getting back into some of those old habits, we're realizing, oh my goodness, like, I don't know if that's who I am anymore, right? It's like, I'm not sure that I want to be that person that I was in 2019. In 2023, maybe you want to have more work-life balance. In 2024, maybe you want to fall in love again. In 2025, maybe you want to change your whole career. You know what I'm saying? And so like, I really like the idea that as we go through these experiences in life and accept that pivots are natural and good, that we can be a part of defining our own destiny, of choosing our own path and creating a life that we actually kind of love. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the goal.
That is pretty awesome. You brought up that work-life balance. I mean, you do a lot. And I mean, as you know, so tell us, how do you balance all of the things that you do?
So, okay. Work-life balance is an interesting term in and of itself, and it's so popular on the internet. I think I have been really focused on this idea of how can I have work-life harmony. And for me, when I say work-life harmony, it really is about saying that there are seasons of work and there are seasons of rest, and really focusing in and being intentional about how can I do work that matters to me, that's important to me, and sometimes giving space where work is the most important thing for a time period, right? But making sure that work is not always the most important thing in my life, right? Because we deserve rest. And so like, I think probably the most significant thing that came out of the pandemic for me was really understanding that I deserve breaks. It's useful and good to take a week off of work and not do anything related to work, because when you do that, you're able to come back excited to work again. Something specific that happened to me, I wouldn't consider this fully a pivot point, but I had the beautiful opportunity to take a year-long sabbatical. So I actually wrote the book during that time period. It was about 6 months of working on the book, and then 6 months of kind of just chilling out and being able to exist as a happy human being without the responsibilities of working daily. And I call it my year of rest and relaxation. And my year of rest and relaxation was perfect. It was so beautiful because I got to really sit down and ideate on who I am and who I want to become. And it's so wild because coming out of that sabbatical and going to work, obviously there was a little bit of transition and challenge, right? Because I was used to like kind of doing whatever I wanted all day. And now I'm in this position where, okay, I have to wake up at a specific time because I'm responsible for doing this client work, or I need to do these activities in order to make sure that I'm keeping the lights on. But I think the thing that came out of that experience is that I have so much more flexibility in the way that I think about my day, right? So it's like I am the best in the mornings. And so I try my best to put the things that are the most important to me in the morning, because that helps to set me up for that long-term success. And so making those tiny shifts where you understand who you are and how your brain works can support you in the way that you create work-life harmony for yourself.
That is really good. That is really good. And that's also very important to know where you can do your best work. I think a lot of times we just like, okay, I have to get this done. I'm just going to do it when I can, and not knowing, no, I'm actually high functioning at this time.
Yes.
I think I'm a good afternoon, night person to get a lot done. I mean, I can do stuff in the morning, but I'm like all over the place. But like midday and evenings, I got you.
I'm the opposite. I am fully a morning person. Like if I'm doing any creative work, if I'm doing anything where I need to be all the way on and fully present, you're going to get the best version of me before 2 p.m., honestly. But it's like, okay, if you want to have like a low stakes meeting, let's do that in the afternoon. That's better for me.
Love it. Love it. What advice would you give to people that are looking to start their own self-care journey?
Oh, self-care is so important, y'all. I say this confidently, boldly, and continuously. You deserve to invest time in yourself, right? So, 3 really small, really easy tips. Number 1, I would say go on a 15-minute walk every single day for 7 days and see how it makes you feel, right? I think that is the beginning of your journey in moving your body daily. And if you're a person that doesn't move your body daily, you will instantly feel the effects of going on a 15-minute walk every single day. It feels good to move your body, and your body loves it. That's my first tip. The second tip is, and this is a little bit of a harder one, but I encourage people to make a list of 100 things that they're grateful for. I feel like this is the perfect kind of segue into understanding the power of guided journaling, right? So you make this list of 100 things you're grateful for, and you have to be so intentional when you're making a list, because it's like easy to think about maybe the first like 10 to 15, but by the time you get to 30 something, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm running out of things. But that's the beautiful thing, like, that comes from this exercise, because we're fortunate enough to live in a country where we have access to a lot of things that we take for granted. It's like, I'm thankful for having a toilet in my home that I can use that flushes, right? I'm thankful for having potable water to drink. I'm thankful for having air conditioning and heating. I'm thankful for having electricity and internet. And so, like, you continue to make this list, and it will show you how fortunate and how much you have working for you already, which is so beneficial. And I feel like that could be the start of your journaling journey. And then my third and final tip is to, every day for a week, I want you to sit in quiet and do 10 deep breaths, where you count to 4 as you breathe in and count to 4 as you breathe out. And I want you to acknowledge how you feel. Like, think about, how do I feel after I've done those 10 deep breaths? How does my body feel? And my hope is that that could be the start of your journey in meditation. And if you're interested in kind of extending that journey of meditation, I would say the next step further is to download this wonderful app called Insight Timer. They have these guided meditations. You can do any length, but to start out, I say trying to do a 5-minute meditation will absolutely help you to slow down. And by slowing down, you really make space to tap into your heart center and really learn how to trust your gut and your intuition on how to move forward.
Awesome. Last couple of questions. Okay. How do you envision your book making a difference in people's lives?
Yeah. I think it's always really important for me to say I am not a licensed and trained therapist. I'm not a licensed and trained counselor. My focus is I am a mental health advocate, right? My goal and my purpose, especially at this point in my life, is to encourage people to understand that they are beautiful and powerful, and that they have the opportunity to make these positive changes in their lives, right? So, like, my goal with this book is to really be the beginning of your self-discovery journey. My hope, honestly, is that you will work through this book and it will spark these tiny changes that start to create these ripple effects in all the areas of your life that give you a little bit more hope, that provide you with a little bit more joy. And honestly, the best case scenario is that because you have worked through the reset workbook, all of a sudden you're like, hey, maybe I could go to counseling. Maybe I could try therapy. And the reason that I say that is because for me, starting my therapy journey really helped me to go back and understand why I live the way I live, and specifically to help me to come up with strategies and coping mechanisms that are healthy as opposed to negative coping mechanisms that I had learned along the way. And so by adding these healthy coping mechanisms, I was able to let go of these negative things that I was doing that were affecting me in a negative way. And so my hope is that you purchase the Reset Workbook and it will spark some joy, some delight, and some positive change in your life, and hopefully encourage you to go to therapy.
So, and that's what you want people to take from the book.
100%.
Awesome. So tell us again, how do we get all of this, and how do we get the book?
Yeah. So the best way to connect with me is at socurious.co. On socurious.co, you'll see all of my writings, my illustrations. You'll have a link to my YouTube channel, my podcast, as well as all the different links where you can purchase the book online. But if you're on Amazon, you can just search The Reset Workbook by Justin Sheils. It'll pop right up and you can get it to your home in 1 or 2 days if you've got Prime.
Come on, Prime. I'm a faithful member. Definitely want to thank you so much for coming on and sharing. And I told y'all, get your pen and paper ready, because we're going to drop some gems, and you did just that. And we just are grateful that you gave us your time today to share about this awesome workbook that we're all going to buy and need to buy, and buy for someone else, so we can start these journeys in our lives that we have been desiring to do. So again, I thank you so much for being on the show. I thank everyone in the comment section that has been sharing throughout the show on the topic that we're talking about, and all the nuggets that he's been dropping this whole time. I hope that you all enjoyed the show. I know I did, and we are hoping that Justin comes back to drop even more things that we need to hear. I also may have him come into this community that I'm going to have you all join real soon, to share and have some enlightenment, and then also that we all can have a great conversation. So I definitely, again, thank you, Justin. You're always welcome to the Today Is Your Day show. And I, again, thank the audience for being a part of us, not only today, but all this year. And I want you all to always know it doesn't have to be your birthday for today to be your day.